What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fresh Roots Exotic Cars. I am your host, Fresh Roots. Woo! And boys, we're in the AMG GTS. We're just entering a canyon right now. It's called Gopher Canyon. I used to rip this canyon route every other day for 2 years straight in a McLaren MP412C. So I know this canyon quite well. It's a little bypass that attaches the 15 freeway to essentially Vista, Oceanside, North County, San Diego, San Marcos, etc. So it's pretty sweet. It's a nice little road. It's pretty fun. Not when you're behind this old school. I don't even know what that is. And I'm a car guy. I'm not exactly sure what that car in front of me is. Looks like some sort of import or something, maybe from the UK. It looks kind of wild, but it is definitely slow. Might be an old Volkswagen, but nonetheless, guys, we are on the canyon. There's some pretty sick houses up here too. I've always wanted to kind of explore up here a little bit more. I want to say this is called like Pharaoh's Lane or something, or something Egyptian related. But yeah, it's a pretty sweet road, guys. There's like a lot of avocado farms. There's even a dragon fruit farm that I'm actually going to be visiting pretty soon next week for my own little garden. So there's a lot of farming out here, a lot of agriculture. There's that trippy little dome house up there, which is pretty cool. But yeah, guys, anyways, so let's hop into today's topic of today's video, which is going to be essentially, can you make an AMG GTS 1500 horsepower? Is that possible, and what does it take, and what's my opinion essentially on that, guys? So pretty much, I've talked to a couple companies at length. Wistek, obviously, I have the stage 1 Wistek tune. We're going stage 2 pretty soon, guys. Within the next 5 days or so, we're going to be getting stage 2. We're going to be getting those downpipes on with the stage 2 tune. Hopefully a flame tune. I'm going to talk to them a little bit more about that, make sure it's not going to damage my engine or anything. But I've talked to them at length about the power capabilities of this car, and I've also talked to Premier Tuning Group a little bit about what they can do. And I found it pretty interesting, guys, as we're just having fun. Honestly, this road is so sick. So let me show you this little cool little curve right here. That's super fun. Again, you know, with these cars and these canyons, I like to say, like, you don't have to go too fast. I mean, obviously you can push it, but you know, in the canyons and stuff, it's not like the track. You can be at lower speeds, you know, below 100 miles per hour and still have a lot of fun. But of course, you know, on this channel, we always keep it under 55 unless we hit up Mexico. So anyways, back to the topic, guys. Is over 1,000 horsepower possible? Right out of the gate, I'll tell you yes, it is possible with this car, but not with the stock clutch, and you're gonna have to do an engine build. So Premier Tuning Group does do that. You know, they'll get into the engine and they'll put in some bits there to up that horsepower and make it capable of over 1,000 horsepower. But also you're gonna need to upgrade the turbos at that point. And last but not least, you're going to need to upgrade the clutch, guys. That's the most important part. You can get up to that higher horsepower. Wistek also told me the same thing, that the stock clutch is good to about 750, 800 horse. But after that, it's going to start to slip, and you're going to want to get the Datsun clutch that Premier Tuning Group can throw in for you. But it's $8,000. It's not cheap. It's $8,000 to kind of build the engine. It's another $8,000 or so to get the upgraded turbos. Another $8,000 or so. So you're looking at about $24,000 in parts and labor. Maybe more, maybe a little bit less. All really depends on that hookup. But nonetheless, it's over $20,000 to get that over 1,000 horsepower. So I've decided to probably forego that. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do. I know we're going stage 2. At that point, we'll be at about 650 horse. The thing is, you can get that type of power, right, on a dyno. You know, one of those wheels off dynos, right? So it's just testing the raw power of the car and the capability of the car. But can you actually really put that power down? That's my question. And you know, with the wide body and adding, this is such a fun little route right here, guys. Sorry to interrupt myself there, but you know, I get distracted on such a fun route. When there's no cars on this route, imagine I rip this every other day in my McLaren. It was such a fun route. But anyways, yeah. So can you actually put that power down? I just don't think so. You know, I mean, maybe with a wide body and some slicks and stuff, but I really don't like that look. You know, I know there's those like 2,000 horsepower Huracans that are out there. I'm not going to name any companies or anything, but you guys know the companies that can do those cars. But they'll end up putting like some weird back wheels and back tires on them, like almost like slicks that look a little thicker, and it just kind of ruins the aesthetic of the car for me. Oh yeah, this was an old Volkswagen. It was an old Volkswagen Rabbit. Those things are wild. But yeah, so I just don't want to do that. I don't want to put any weird looking tires on the car or wheels on the car. Now, with that said, if this channel does get to 20,000 subscribers soon, while I still own this AMG GTS, I will wide body it. And now with the wide body, I think you can put a little bit more power down. So I'm not saying it's off the table for me, but I think that in order to do it, you got to wide body the car to add that wider stance, and you're gonna have to change the tires. So it is possible. For me, for now, I'm going to stage 2. Eventually we'll end up maybe talking with WiseTech to see if they'll hook me up on something, and we'll go stage 3 with their turbos. Here's the other thing, is Premier Tuning Group did not have anything good to say about the companies that keep the stock turbos but change the inlets. And there's a lot of companies that do that, so I don't know, you know, I think that might be the route to go before going to the 1,000 horsepower. That'll get you to about 758. That's changing the turbos, upgrading the turbos essentially. So you're going to keep the same stock turbo, but you'll change the inlets. That's what WiseTech does. They also have the W4 turbos, WiseTech does, that will completely change the turbo. Now, there is a little bit more turbo lag when that happens. Even Premier Tuning Group told me with their turbo setup, they actually will take out the stock turbos and they'll put in the bigger ones, and there's a little bit of turbo lag. Keeping this car for me personally as more of like a Canyon Carver street car, I don't know if I want that turbo lag. I kind of want a quicker spool up and a faster, longer spool up, which you can do with changing out the upgrading the original turbos with the spool, and then also adding meth will help to cool everything down too. So I'm kind of more so leaning towards that, other than dropping 25,000 into the car. And that's not to mention with the wide body, we're talking 60 grand additional to get to that power and potentially be able to put it down. But even if you know, I don't know if you'll be able to put down 1,500 horsepower or 1,000 horsepower in this car, even with the wide body. I mean, maybe with slicks, but then again, that changes the whole aesthetic. So we'll cross that bridge, guys, when we get there. Right now, we're just waiting on going to stage 2. We're out of the Canyon. We are in Vista, California. I used to live literally right up here, going to visit a buddy of mine. Just had his son, so I'm going to go get eyes on that little guy right there, and chop it up with him and hang out for a little bit. It's a beautiful Sunday out here today, but I literally used to live right here on this road when I owned my McLaren. Lived over here for a couple years, had my my glass blowing studio out here. Used to go to this Italian restaurant, Chow's, a lot. There's a cool brewery over here that serves good burgers. But yep, Taylor Street, guys, this is where I used to hold it down, over here on Taylor Street. And it was tough to find an apartment in North County, San Diego, or any county in San Diego for that matter, with a garage and that was gated. Obviously I had the McLaren, and people do like to follow people home, unfortunately, in SoCal, that have nice cars and do bad things. So I wanted a nice secure spot, so I ended up getting the apartments up there, not this Pacific Sun ones, but the ones next door, the Taylor Brook Apartments, guys, with the garage, and that was gated. So some of you guys might remember that from the throwback McLaren videos. To touch base on that, those are coming back, guys. I'm going to be releasing my old McLaren videos kind of as throwbacks on this channel, so stay tuned, guys. We have a lot of plans for the channel. I just pulled up here to my buddy's spot, so I'm going to find some parking, hop out and hang out for a bit, and I'm going to catch up with you guys in again today. Not on this episode. I just wanted to cover the 1500 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower topic on this episode real quick. We'll put it in park. Of course, we had it in race mode. Car's looking good. I mean, it's 80, 90 degrees out here, and no temp rises at all. But yeah, so I'll catch up with you guys after. We'll go get some food. We'll explore Vista a little bit. We'll take that Canyon route back home, and I'll flip the camera around. I'll get it mounted up so you guys can kind of get a little feel for what it's like carving a canyon in this car, guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. Stay tuned on the channel. We have a lot of cool things happening. Stage 2 is happening soon, flame tune, you name it. We're gonna have some fun with this car, and I also have a couple other exotic cars on my radar, guys. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you on the next one. Much love.